Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff I Never Told You, a production of iHeartRadio. And welcome to a very special happy hour.
So special.
Oh, it's so special. It's special for a lot of reasons. One, we are in the studio, which
we made
it's been years. Yes. This is the first time in our new studio. So wish us luck.
Yeah, it's very fancy.
It is very fancy. We have Christina here with us, but we are so thrilled to be joined by our executive producer, Maya. Thank you so much for taking the time and coming in.
Yes, thank you. Well, I was already here today.
No, we're going to pretend you came in just for us.
For this episode specifically. And I could have taken all these meetings at home. So yeah, I'm here for you.
Thank you.
That's what I feel.
We really appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. And we love seeing you face to face in real life because has it been over a year?
Oh
how
many
times? How many years has it been, y'all?
It's been years.
It's been years. We'll just say that. We'll just keep it at years.
Because we did have an in-person Spinty meeting a couple years ago, but it was years.
Yes, it was over wings, which we need to do that.
It was.
We did.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. But yes, glad to be in the studio for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Also in years. This is odd. It's just like I'm going back and forth to look at your faces. And it's such an odd sensation not seeing my own face, which I don't hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're actually here in your real life. It's wild.
It's very strange. And this episode kind of came about through some real life conversations, collaborations, because Christina was talking with you, Maya, about something that an episode we had done on a spiritless alcohol called Spiritless, non-alcohol. And you were like, wait, I can have some things to say about this, right?
I do. I'm a huge purchaser, consumer of non-alcoholic spirits at, bars. I'm always looking at what they have.
Yeah.
And in the last several years, most places you go will have at least a small menu of mocktails, but now, people are calling it spiritless or zero proof, which just makes me feel a little bit more chic and fancy than mocktail. Because I'm like, I don't want a Shirley Temple. I want something grown up and that feels complex without having to consume alcohol. So for so many reasons, I feel like there's just so many reasons why, you may not want to, or maybe you never even heard of spirit-free alcohol or options. And I think it's like a really fun way to get into socializing if you're not like a huge alcohol drinker.
Right. And I know that's been a lot of people who have stopped drinking alcohol or have gotten sober and feeling like they've lost a part of their selves because they don't have that social aspect to it. And so having spiritless or zero proof mocktails is a fantastic way to go. And then also because you seem like an expert when you're talking about it to us. So I'm like, yes, bring it in. We need to know more. And then that way we can spread, because there's so many people, like even in my circle, who are sober or have decided to not drink alcohol anymore, or at least less. Mm-hmm. So being able to be inventive and creative with these mocktails / zero proof. What do you mean? Do we call it spiritless?
It's
what do
spiritless.
We call it?
It's mocktail if you want to call it that. That's the classic verbiage. Right. But I think I like zero proof.
Okay, we'll go with zero.
That's
proof.
what I like. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like an evangelist for spirit. For zero proof, spirits. Anytime somebody comes over to my house, we have game nights, we have events at our house, and we always have options for non-alcoholic drinks. And recently, my favorite has been Nowadays. Ooh. That initially I saw it on Instagram and it just looked really cool because I'm into a lot of these products. I get fed new brands all the time. Like, look at this one, look at that one. And this one was one that I found really intriguing because it is cannabis infused. Ooh. So maybe you're not a drinker, but you're more of the herbal variety. This is for you. Like it's kind of revolutionary, honestly. Like it's a really unique product. And I've made drinks for a lot of people who've come over to my house and they just absolutely love it because you still get some sort of feeling and effect. But you have, of course, none of the alcohol, hangover, dehydration, all of that stuff. So I'm a huge fan of that one. I'm also a big fan of just drinks that have, sometimes they're already pre-mixed. There's a brand called Kin that I really love. They make also zero proof spirits, but they also make pre-mixed cocktails that have like other types of herbs, not the cannabis variety, but more like ashwagandha or rhodiola or passion flower. And they give different effects of, like, passion flower is very calming. Rhodiola is like a stress reliever. Ashwagandha is an adaptogenic, so it helps in stress, both modulating up or modulating down, depending on how your body reacts with it. I'm a big herbal person too. I love herbs. So it kind of all goes into the same vein of, like, being your own little mixologist, you know, mixing this tea with that, and, you know, mixing it with you know, green tea with a little bit of peppermint, because peppermint is great for relaxation. And, like, you know, I could just go on forever. So when it came to, you know, non-alcoholic spirits, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is this new realm that I can kind of be really creative with and make something fun.
Which is amazing, because you and I need to talk about, I've gotten into magnesium glycinate with ashwagandha and the L one. What is it? L-theanine?
Oh, L-theanine, yeah.
Like, I don't know how to say this, so I'm just going to give up my own names. But yes, and I've been doing that at night. And I'm like, I feel like it's made a difference in my sleep.
Yes.
But no, like, this is not necessarily like anything that I have researched, so take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Obviously, when we talk about this. And yeah, just as a note, we are not currently sponsored by any of the things that we are talking about right now. Maybe one day, who knows? Give us a call if you're a cool brand. Call? Is that a thing we do?
No,
now?
I won't
Send
answer
us an email.
it. Yeah.
It's true. I don't answer calls. That was send us an email. You know, those electronic things.
Electronic mail.
One of those. But yes, we are not currently sponsored. And if you are partaking of anything, do so responsibly. You know how we tell you.
Yes,
Take
we're
care of
all
yourself.
over the age of 21, even though these are non-alcoholic, especially the cannabis infused. Over 21. Surprisingly and amazingly, there are some really great zero proof stores that just specify in non-alcoholic drinks. And in Atlanta, there's one called the Zero Co. And this is where I purchased the Nowadays. I purchased the Ritual from Total Wine, which surprisingly has like a whole section of non-alcoholic, and they're just continuing to expand even in like beer and champagne and like kind of literally anything you want. You can really have any of drinks that you were drinking before or that you want to, you know, share with your friends. They kind of have everything, but Zero Co is really cool because it's just more of like a bespoke, more curated place where they do tastings once a week, maybe once or twice a week, which is really cool. So you can try the different drinks. And we'll segue into the drink that we're drinking today.
Yes, because you were amazing.
Yes.
And prepared something for us.
Yes. So
tell us about it.
Ooh.
A little bit of ASMR.
Yeah, I've got some.
So we're starting with the Ritual tequila. Just a regular, about a shot size of that. And this one is really interesting because it has botanicals that kind of mimic the taste of a tequila. So it has smoked mesquite to give it that like smoky flavor, black peppercorn, capsicum fruit, prickly ash, and green bell peppers. So it's that really like savory kind of flavor, really like vegetal almost, but also like really deep and smoky too.
Literal vegetal. Green pepper.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have the Nowadays, which has a really interesting flavor. It's kind of like a fruity, it's hard to describe. I would say smell the Nowadays and like tell me what you think about what that I can't tamp down like what that smells like.
It reminds me of a candy.
Yeah. I'm
not gonna put my nose in it. Okay, get close to that. Trying to think of it. Not exactly like licorice, but
it's like a fruit.
Spicy.
Yeah, it's like a fruity candy, like almost like a Skittles gummy candy kind
Yeah,
of
like a
flavor.
gummy.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Okay, you know what? Kind of Swedish fish.
Okay.
That's what I
Yeah.
get for some reason. So
Yeah,
it's
I could
not
see it.
quite licorice, but kind of
Mhm.
like
Right.
mimicking the Red Dye number
Yeah.
40, but
Mhm.
delicious.
Somehow.
I
I
like
don't
it.
know.
I
It's
like
like
it.
a clear, like it's like a milky.
Mhm.
That's the wrong cap. It's like a milky color. So I'm not really sure how they got that flavor, but
Ooh.
and then we're gonna end with a lemon honeysuckle Montaigne on top with a little squeeze of lime. And that's our drink.
And it's delicious.
It's kind of reminiscent of a mule type drink.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite because we don't have ginger, but that
Yep.
was sort of my inspiration.
Do you
for
have a
this
name
one.
for it? You gotta name it. Just in case we have to put it in our eventual
Our eventual book
I think I
yeah.
would
of
call
recipes.
this.
cocktail book.
I would call this Georgia Haze.
Ooh.
Oh, I like that.
I like that. Yes, because we've joked about the fact that previously in office we had Montaigne all the time.
Yeah.
So coming back to have Montaigne in the
I know.
office is like a welcome back.
Very
a little
reminiscent.
familiarity.
Very reminiscent of our old office.
So which
I
is
kind of
which is local.
last time I was yes, it is local. Last time I was here in the office, we ran out and I was like, we have to get more. We have to have more.
It's those perks, those like tiny little things where like, if I'm coming into the office,
Yes.
then I'm going to get one of
Yeah,
these. And I'm
yes.
going to get this.
Immediately came in the office, figured out there was Montaigne, went and got one, and I was like, "Oh, they have chips? Yeah, gonna snack. I'm here, so might as
Absolutely.
well."
I need my fancy water and my snacks.
Exactly.
Like, why else do I come into the
What's
office?
the point of being in the office other than seeing our very best people who we get to work with? But this is delightful. So you took this as a kind of a spinoff on the mule without the ginger.
Yeah, exactly. And using the lemon honeysuckle, I feel like gives that a similar type of flavor profile, and then the smokiness and the ritual, I think all just like brings it together. Yeah,
I love that because that smoky finish, which Annie knows. We just did a whole episode on mezcal.
Mm-hmm.
Not a fan. I think I said that repeatedly to the point that it may have ruined that actual episode. But because the smokiness can be so overwhelming, but with this, it's nice and balanced, and I'm enjoying this. Now, this is my first time drinking an infused alcohol, a THC infused. So I'll let y'all know how this goes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Excited,
it's a very calm and like a respectable level of influence, I would say.
I'm
You
gonna put it in a
know, you
bottle.
could still have a nice night out
I'm gonna prep
with
myself.
a drink or two of this. Like, it's not going to take you down. It's really meant to just have a light, calming, kind of joyous effect, is what I would say. And everyone who I've shared it with has just been like rave fans and now stock it in their house. So
I love that.
I know. Yeah.
It says an uplifting experience for any occasion.
Yes.
Including coming back to the office.
I feel like, so that is absolutely true. Take a shot of this before we walk in. Pretty.
And this was 100% legally procured.
Yes.
In, a licensed location of selling.
Yeah, don't come get us.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
If Maya did it.
No, please, I don't want to lose my job.
Okay. No, but this is so good. And y'all, we've got little wine glasses that Christina found for us. So we are so fancy.
We are very fancy
cheers.
right now.
We should have a cheers.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Around the mics.
And oh,
yeah,
nice.
That was good.
But this is amazing. I love this. So what made you turn to doing zero proof drinks?
Yeah, I think definitely during the pandemic, even before, so it was something that I was kind of like interested in, dabbling in, and kind of like dipping my toes into. I'm a yoga professional, and just being in the wellness industry, I think you're kind of at the cusp of these types of products. And when they were first coming out, I was like, oh, this is interesting, and kind of thinking about the idea of what it would be like to not drink when I go out, and kind of exploring that as like a personal challenge and exploration, and wanting to like overcome some social anxiety, not wanting to use alcohol as a crutch for outings, because it was definitely something that I did, especially like throughout my 20s. And, I was a big drinker in college. And honestly, I probably drank enough throughout college and like for the rest of my life. So it was a thing of wanting to, explore what socializing would be without that influence, specifically of
Right.
alcohol. And then it just became something that I did more and more when I would go out, and people just knew, oh yeah, Maya doesn't really drink. And it became easier for me to just, have my own drink, or when I went out, if they didn't have anything, do like a sparkling water and lime, and, make it seem like I had something so that people don't ask questions.
Right.
But even with, not being somebody who's in recovery or anything like that, just saying, oh, I'm not drinking tonight, the pressure of people around you wanting to drink was just so intense and very heavy, to the point of like, I can fully see how someone who is in recovery and really struggling with alcoholism and it's just so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard to say no when you're out. And for me, it was just a personal choice, and it was still really, really hard just to be like, no,
Right.
there's so many questions. Oh, why? Why aren't you drinking? And what's wrong with you? Or, are you pregnant? Which is the worst.
Which is the number one.
The worst question is one, like, maybe you're not ready if you are pregnant to tell people, you could have had a loss, like so many things. And people are just so nonchalant about being like, oh, if you're not drinking, you must be pregnant, which is just absolutely ridiculous and insane. But yeah, that just kind of pushed me more into wanting to not drink as much. And last year, I actually got diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. So it's even more so kind of like a important thing for me just to keep inflammation down for that condition. And alcohol, of course, is like a huge inflammatory drink that you can consume. So, every now and then I'll have, like at my wedding, I had the toast to champagne and things like that. But other than that, I'm very comfortable and secure in the fact that I'm like, yeah, I don't really drink anymore.
Right.
And it's becoming more common now. So it's really cool to find other people that are like, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, it was really challenging. And now just for my health, it's even more of like a precedent for me just to like keep it out of my
Right. Yes, I
life.
apologize. I just asked the question without thinking about it, because in my head, it's like, it's so normalized. I feel like it's just kind of like, okay, cool. What are you drinking? What do you have? And having the options of seeing more and more like restaurants having the zero proof alcohols and types of drinks, and having them as readily available. Although recently I've been watching TikToks where people have been given alcohol when they've requested.
Whoa.
So people are like, what's happening? But that people have been outraged for that, because now people are understanding, hey, this is absolutely should be a choice. This absolutely should just go forward without questions.
Yeah.
And there should have been this kind of option to begin with. So why wouldn't we?
And it's like the validity of the choice without being an alcoholic, I think for such a long time was not there. It's like, well, if you're not an alcoholic, then like, why wouldn't you drink?
Right.
Here's a drink. Put a drink in your face. Just add alcohol to somebody's drink.
Right.
But like you said, now I think it's more acceptable to say like, it's just a personal choice, and that's it.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just started drinking less and less, mainly because I get very sleepy. And I'm like, I don't want to sit here and be sleepy with everybody, because for some reason, I'm like, I can almost sleep anywhere. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to go take a nap in my car. I'll be right back. Which is what my like stress response is. Anyway, but yeah, so I love having these options as well. Sometimes it's just nice to have something like fizzy and fruity, which is oftentimes those kind of zero proof end up being that way. And you're like, yeah, this is nice.
And I really love like the ones that are a little bit more interesting and complex. Like that's what I've really been like, oh, this is so cool. And they add bitters or, do like create the same level of like fun and interest to the non-alcoholic drinks as mixologists or bartenders as they do with the alcoholic drinks, and I always enjoy seeing that.
We have that company that does their own bitters, 1821, and they had an Earl Grey bitters that my partner loves.
That sounds so good.
Yeah, it was actually so nice to have. And we had bought the spiritless, which was our whiskey, zero proof whiskey that we had gotten from the all female owned company, and he had mixed it with that. It was really good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try that. I
It was good.
love Earl Grey.
Oh,
I'm a huge Earl Grey fan. I'm like thinking about how to make some sort of spiritless London fog type situation.
There you
Nice.
go.
Oh, that sounds so good.
If you do like the spiritless brand that we had, because they had bourbon, they had scotch, I think. There's several
Makes
different flavors. I
sense.
think they also had tequila as well,
Mhm.
but like they had a really good. That bourbon was really nice,
Mhm.
and it was very like it tasted exactly like whiskey to me. It was a little
Yeah.
bit sweeter, but I was like, yeah, I like this.
Mhm.
And I don't drink a lot of whiskey on its own, typically, especially now. But that was a nice, like with that bitters, was a nice little top off. I was like, yeah,
That sounds
this
great.
makes sense.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to try that.
So, is this your favorite zero proof drink, or do you have one that like your go to that you make?
I really like. I think Fever Tree makes a grapefruit kind of mixer, sparkling mixer. I love a sparkling
Ooh,
drink.
Yes, I feel
So
like I need
always,
sparkling.
yeah, I always want a little bit of sparkle. So
Yeah.
I do the grapefruit sparkling drink from Fever Tree, and then they have an elderflower tonic water.
Yes.
That's so good.
It
And
is.
those with the nowadays is like my favorite.
I love
Ooh.
grapefruit.
Yeah.
If you put some type of citrus, grapefruit, pineapple, I'm in.
Me too.
I'm in
Me too.
every time.
Yeah.
And sometimes I love having basil. Basil and grapefruit is my favorite
Oh my
like
gosh.
combo.
I've never done that combo.
There you go.
gotta do
More
it.
experimentation.
You gotta
Basil
do it.
and grapefruit.
Yes,
Wow. That sounds
yes.
incredible.
That's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
And then I do blackberry and rosemary as like the herbal
That's a
combo
good one.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really
Ideas.
good. In the
Get this done.
summer, I haven't done this with a spiritless drink, but I've done it with coffee because I like to do a little bit of coffee experimentation, and I feel like coffee mixing goes really well with like cocktail mixing.
Yeah.
And I got this inspiration from a coffee shop called Perk. They have a location in Atlanta, and they used to do a drink that was rosemary simple syrup with lemon and espresso with sparkling water
What?
on ice. It sounds so weird, but it was amazing. Like it kind of like an Arnold Palmer,
Yeah.
but
But
with coffee and just the best summer drink. And I could see that being really good with adding a little bit of a spiritless something in there.
All right, summer mocktail.
Summer
Zero proof-
coffee,
Zero proof,
zero proof
episode coming.
yes, we'll
in
have to make
June.
that one.
We'll do it in June.
Yeah, we'll have to make that one for sure.
It has to be early in the day because I'm old and I'll be up all night.
Oh, same. No, me too. No shame in that. If I have caffeine after like 1:30, 2 o'clock, I'm up.
The coffee.
Yeah.
If I like coffee and espresso, anything after about 2, like you said, I'm gonna be thinking about things.
Yeah, same. All night.
All night.
Yeah.
And not the good
Wow.
There you go.
Scary times.
It's the beginning of my nightmare. Why? And then like, why did I drink that? I knew better. I'm over 40.
Well, also like the drink that I mentioned, Ken, they have like a nightcap kind of like sleepy time cocktail with some herbs and some bitters. That's really nice.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but it's in their purple can.
Okay.
And that's like their nighttime nightcap type of drink.
Since I've been doing the magnesium thing, I've been telling you, I've been getting ads for Recess.
Yeah.
And they have apparently
they have CBD
again, not a sponsor
drink.
But they have like the ashwagandha in it. But like I've been doing the poppy probiotic with the tart cherry.
The cherry.
Yeah. TikTok got me.
You've been on TikTok,
It got me.
Samantha.
It got me, okay? And I was like, I'll try
The
it.
Sleepy Girl mocktail.
Yes, that's what I'm like, I need to be sleepy.
Yeah, I do it
I will
too.
say, according to my Samsung watch, again, not a sponsor, is telling me I'm getting good sleep.
I have an Aura ring, so I also
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
We have so many things.
I know, so many brands. Like
So
this whole
funny.
episode is just like
We're like a giant
Brand.
K-drama on podcast with all the branding. Those who
Coming
know,
to you
they
by-
know.
That's so funny.
But yes, I'm just saying.
my sleep data has also been pretty good recently.
Yeah, so I don't.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, you know what? Because previously, when I was not doing that, I was getting the average. I guess it goes up to 100.
Mhm.
I was getting like 60, 55, 60, which is not great. And after doing that, I've been getting 75 and 80s, and I was like,
Look at you.
so either my watch is lying and is in conspiracy with
no
the TikTok.
magnesium is like fully
Yeah.
it works, and also they say I don't have the studies to back it up. At
this
the
is
moment.
all just
This is all
conjecture at this point.
yeah,
So y'all
exactly.
don't take our word for
But
this.
they say that most Americans or most people, modern day people, are very deficient in magnesium.
Yeah.
It's one of the nutrients that's lacking in the soil.
Mhm.
So a supplement in magnesium, I don't think it's ever a bad thing unless
Right.
it's like contraindicated
Right.
for you.
Again, like I would never.
Not medical advice.
Yeah,
No.
we're not
At
telling
all.
you to do this. We're not telling you. I
Ask
just
your
tried this
doctor.
out from like the TikTok video. I was like, well, it looks good, so let me try it anyway. If it does something, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, I know two different people. Like melatonin's that same conversation where my partner can't take it because it doesn't help him half the time, and sometimes it does the opposite. For me, if I take it, it actually makes me really drowsy and groggy the next day.
Mm.
So like it can and can't, and there's no
Yeah.
scientific proof about the melatonin stuff as well. So like there's no level of conversations that we would say this is the way. Don't
Yeah,
do this.
don't do this.
Don't do that.
because of us.
Right. And then again, we are not medical professionals. We are not in the health industry at all. I was just like, this is interesting.
Mm.
Maybe this could work. Is it bad for me? Let me look it up. And I did. I was like, what are the effects of this? Are there side effects of this? I don't need to be having, seizures or something. God forbid.
As far as I know, magnesium is quite harmless.
Right.
It's like one of the pretty like standard.
I think it's like most like vitamins, and Annie, you probably know this, like it doesn't really absorb into your body as much as you
You
think.
mostly pee it out.
Yeah.
It's kind of a waste.
So maybe so it could be like half the things, and then there are things that they could be proven to this, like like vitamin D is just as good. Just go outside,
Yeah.
just as taking. But all of that to say, it's like, but it,
Consult
even,
your
yeah,
physician.
even if it's in my head, but it's helping me sleep, I'm gonna go with it.
But that being said, melatonin,
Yeah,
they were like, yeah, it's good for you. Now they're like,
Don't
oh
do
God,
this.
don't
Yeah.
do that.
Don't do
So
this.
Also,
yeah, because they're like now if you take more than 5 milligrams,
Mhm.
it's
this
like,
doesn't do anything,
and
or
it's also
something.
like a bad dependency. Like it,
right.
Because you're naturally supposed to make melatonin to help you go
Right.
to sleep throughout your own circadian rhythm should be ideally
Yeah.
helping you produce enough melatonin so that you get sleepy at the right
Yeah.
times, but because of our phones and
Yeah.
lights and
yeah, staying inside.
staying inside, not getting sunlight,
Right.
we're not producing enough
Right.
melatonin to help us get sleepy. So all of these things,
There's so many things.
so
Although
many
my
things.
vets keep telling me to give it to Peaches, and Peaches does not care. She does not care.
Does not for
She's
her.
a night owl.
If she's gonna be hyped, she's gonna be hyped.
Oh my gosh.
Even if I give her the prescription meds that my vets give to me, which are like, if this was a human,
Yeah.
you would have been knocked out. But you as a dog don't care.
Have you given Peaches any CBD pet products?
I did. She did not care.
Really? Wow.
She
She's-
kinda- She does this thing if she's already relaxed, but so she's gonna be deeper relaxed. But if she's hyped, not gonna do a
Mm.
damn thing.
What kind of dog is she?
A jerk. No, I love her. I love her very much. She is a whole host of breeds of dogs, and she is quite excitable. She's gotten better. She is the foil to her D&D campaign.
Oh
Yes, she's the chaos element that shows up in every
my
time we
gosh.
play.
It's quite funny. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Yes, absolutely. I'm
Yes.
so glad that we were able to make this happen. This is so fun.
Yeah,
We should do this again. We'll have to do the coffee one in June.
Yeah.
But if you want to come on earlier,
Absolutely.
absolutely, too.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much, Maya, for coming in and for sharing all of the things you're into and for making this drink. It was so good.
So
You're
tasty.
welcome. You're
It was
welcome.
so good. What else are you working on? Where can the good listeners find you?
Well, I am executive producer of several shows throughout the iHeart universe, the MC, the IHU. Yeah, a lot of really great shows. A few that have launched recently. Deep Dark Woods is one that I'll shout out. That's a recent launch on our team, and really happy about that one. So yeah, go listen and subscribe.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you again so much, Maya. Listeners, if you would like to contact us, if you have any thoughts about this, you can email us. Our email is stephandiamomstuff@iheartmedia.com. You can find us on Twitter at momstuffpodcast or on Instagram and TikTok at Stuff I Never Told You. We have a TeePublic store and we have a book you can get wherever you get your books. Thanks as always to our super producer, Christina, our executive producer, Maya, and our contributor, Joey.
Yeah.
Yes. And thanks to you for listening. Stuff I Never Told You is a production by iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.